everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name, of course, is Sunny, and I'm here with my co-host,
Caleb, as always.
What's up, dude? How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good, man. I had a good Thanksgiving, had a good weekend, and I'm chilling, bro. I'm chilling.
Oh, that's good.
For sure. So, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do our Patreon shout out because I want to make sure to not forget it this time.
Yeah.
So, a huge shout out to all of our patrons. So thank you to Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, Mocha, Myth Oceanus, Pig, Scuzz Daddy, AD, Aaron Gardner, Anthony Lila, Damian Zink, Mountain Man, Owen Alvarado, Cyber, Jeremy Drysdale, Ray Powell, and Sunny Sweet. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the podcast. I mean, it literally keeps the lights on. So thank you all so much for that. Well, how you feeling? We doing good?
Oh, yeah.
You have a good weekend?
Oh, yeah. I ate way too much turkey.
I heard that. The other thing I wanted to do also while I'm thinking about it was please, everybody, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Top Cut Podcast. We are trying to get those follower numbers up so that we can compete with the big boys. And please be sure to check out our Discord, which the link is in the description below. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please be sure to go ahead and leave us a rating and a review. It helps out tremendously. It helps people when they search Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. It helps them find us a little easier. And it adds legitimacy. So, it really does help. Plus, if you leave us a cool review, I will be sure to read it out on the podcast. So that is your incentive. Well, I think that the first thing to do, of course, is to go ahead and get into the I think we have some
Quick play news.
Yeah. What do we got?
Well, let's see. The first big thing is that there's been some rulings in the OCG that were never officially codified over here in the TCG that they
Codified.
Thank you.
It's a fish. It's codified.
Yeah. It wasn't officiated. Huh?
Hey.
Until actually fairly recently. So these rules originally came out in the OCG in April of 2020. They just announced recently it's the same in the TCG.
Right. So they've just now formalized the April 2020 rules revisions for the TCG.
Following rule updates and clarifications, some of which have already been in effect, are in effect at in-person or remote duel events at all levels. These will be incorporated into an upcoming rulebook update. 1. Fusion Synchro and Exceed monsters can be first summoned from the extra deck to any of your main monster zones. It does not have to be an extra monster zone. We've already been playing like that anyway.
Wow, literally Master Rule 5.
Pretty much, yeah. They officially say that Master Rule 5 also applies to the TCG. Officially stated. 2. If a monster trigger effects meets activation conditions, but hasn't yet had a chance to actually activate yet, because it's still in the middle of a card effect or chain, for example, and is therefore being saved for later in quotation marks, but its location changes to the time its trigger effect activation is met, and the time it actually has a chance to activate, its effect does not activate.
So this is like activate Alpha Tribute Ben 10, chain DD Crow banishing Ben 10. Under the old rules, Ben 10 does get the search anyway. Here, Ben 10 would not get the search, which is, again, the current rulings. Another example would be activate Karis, send Kit as cost, chain DD Crow, banish Kit.
Yeah.
Same principle.
Exactly. Again, this is ways we've kind of been playing it for the most part. It's just... 3. The restriction of you cannot normal summon or special summon the turn you activate this card only refers to monsters that were successfully summoned. Same 4, you can only special summon X per turn restrictions.
Right.
So if you negate the summon, doesn't count.
Right.
4. Trap monsters that say this card is also still a trap do not occupy both monster zones and a spell trap zone. They're only in the monster zone where the card actually is, and does not take up a spell and trap zone.
So, under the old rules, if I activated Haquero of the Golden Land, I wouldn't be able to set 5 spell traps. I would only be able to set 4. Now you can set 5 again.
Yeah, because Haquero is technically taking one of those slots up.
Right, so.
And finally, number 5, page 51 of the rulebook, under leaves the field. When a monster on the field is shuffled into the main deck or becomes an exceed material, it is no longer a card on the field. However, its effects that activate when it leaves the field will not activate. Main deck should be deck, and therefore also includes the extra deck.
So, under the old rules, if you activate a compulsory evacuation device on Elemental Hero Absolute Zero, it would get its, it would meet its trigger, and it would get to blow up your opponent's field. Under the new rules, if you activate compulsory evacuation device on Elemental Hero Absolute Zero, it will not trigger.
Yeah. We're just using that as an example. It could be literally anything.
Right. So.
But yeah, those rules are now official on the books, TCG rules.
Yes. So if anybody has any questions or anything, don't hit us up. We are not judges. If you have any questions on the rulings here, be sure to check out. There is a Distant Coder video that really well explains what this new update and what all the new update entails and what all it affects. So,
the examples we gave are just some of the prime examples that come like forefront of our minds as soon as we read it.
Yes, those are the examples that are like frequently given.
Yeah, exactly. So next up, we actually have a brand new card.
Yeah, we have the brand new card from the Albash structure deck in the OCG, which we assume we're going to be getting here. We don't actually... No, wait. We have the Albash structure deck confirmed for the TCG in February, right?
Yes. However, we don't have any of the cards that are particularly in it.
Right. So we don't have any kind of a card list or anything.
Yeah, but we know we are, in fact, getting it.
This card's crazy, yo. This is Branded Fusion, which is a normal spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this card except fusion monsters. 1. Fusion summon one fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz as material from your extra deck, using 2 monsters from your hand, deck, or field as a fusion material, including at least 1 Fallen of Albaz.
So basically, you can only use Fallen of Albaz plus 1 other monster. From your deck.
Dude, this is insane.
So, like, even if you open literally just this, it's still 100% live.
Yeah.
Even on turn 0, unlike the only other card that's anywhere that's anything like this, should all fusion.
So, there are a couple of important things to note. It does lock you into fusion monsters for the turn, and it doesn't do it... So, the way it's ordered is you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this card, not for the rest of the turn.
Correct. So even if you...
So you can't go full Tri-Brigade combo and then activate this and send Fallen of Albaz and Tri-Brigade Makari to add back one of your banished Tri-Brigades.
Now, something else you absolutely cannot do, which I don't think anyone's talked about yet, that I just realized, is you can't on the same turn you make Verte, use Verte to activate this card.
Oh, that's not true.
Oh, okay. It's worded differently than that.
Because you're not activating the card, you're activating Verte and copying this card's effect. Right? So... If I'm not mistaken...
yeah, it's one of those...
It's the same reason that you can do stuff with Verte. You can do stuff before you activate Red Eyes Fusion with Verte. Because you're not activating Red Eyes Fusion. You're activating Verte and copying Red Eyes Fusion's effect.
Fair enough. Not its condition.
Right.
I mean, we'll still have to kind of wait and see once we get the actual TCG.
Again, not a judge. Don't trust me on that.
Yes,
Ask a judge.
Yeah, and again, we're also going off of a translation for this as well.
Yeah, I trust the translation. I don't trust my rulings.
Exactly.
So...
that's me just kind of going. That's me just kind of glancing at the card and blah blah blah.
I feel like you definitely could use Verte here.
Very possibly.
On this card, though, but yeah, I think. Don't quote me on that. Not a judge. Hashtag not a judge.
Yeah, but it is a possibility. Again, depending upon how they word it over here in the TCG.
Right. So
yeah. So it's either the most broken fusion spell in the game, or the most broken fusion spell in the game that is probably going to get Verte banned finally.
Yeah, if Verte isn't already banned on the new ban list,
It probably will after we get the spell, if it can actively utilize it.
right?
Properly utilize it, that's the word. Properly. If that's the case, whoo boy. Whoo. It's gonna be rough. Speaking of which, like, what are some of the Fallen of Albaz fusions out of curiosity? Because I haven't actually looked at any of them. I haven't had a need to till just now.
We read them all off on a podcast episode a while back.
Yeah, but not their effects, I don't think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. So let's see. Well, I mean, there is Titaniclad, which is already kind of run. Let's see. So there's Titaniclad. Then we have Albion the Branded Dragon.
Okay, I've got the list of the new ones from the structure deck. So,
okay, cool.
Mirror Jade the Iceblade Dragon, which is the one that takes Fallen of Albaz and one Fusion Synchro Caesar Link. So you couldn't get this guy directly out unless you had a different one already on your field.
Yeah.
Because then you can use field and was it hand?
Field, hand, and deck. So you could theoretically, so next turn, if you could activate a second one, use your first fusion plus another Fallen of Albaz from your deck, or the Fallen of Albaz you recurred from your graveyard that you used previous turn, and make this guy.
Yeah, and then with also having Incredible Ecclesia, the Virtuous, makes it. Rubellion, the Divine Flame Dragon, which requires one Dark Monster and Fallen of Albaz. Oh gosh, you could literally go activate this dude, activate this card, send any Dark Monster from your deck and Fallen of Albaz to the graveyard, and you can send any Shadal. No, not any Shadal. You can
most
send
of them.
You can send a lot of the Shadal monsters.
You can send Hedgehog to search. You can send Squam to get another mill. You can send Dragon get a pop. Beast get a draw.
It's literally whatever you want it to be,
as long as it's the dark ones. The only main decked non-dark ones are Windy and Ariel. And Kaios if you're being weird.
Yeah, so, dude, can you imagine being able to just, like... And it's like Shadal Fusion, at least you can't do it on turn 0, right? This you can just activate for free on turn 0.
Correct.
This is insanity.
Yeah, just to get all these extra Shadal effects. Not only Shadal effects, like, just any dark monster sent directly to your graveyard.
Yeah.
It's just like off the top of my head, immediately Shadals. I'm pretty sure there's other decks that can abuse it. I'm pretty sure like Inzectors could probably abuse that.
Oh yeah.
You know, because then they can mill like a Hornet, Normal Swing Dragonfly, equip Hornet.
Yeah.
Etc., etc., etc.
It's really good.
Yep. Well, let's see. What was the other one? Was there a third one?
There's about 6 of them.
Jesus.
But like some of them require Albaz and like a Spriggans or Albaz and a Tri-Brigade. So
which the deck comes pre-installed with.
Yeah, but like you can literally do, I think there's one that requires one in a Tri-Brigade and you can literally do Albaz and like
Kit.
Yeah, or Albaz and Nerval and just get a free search.
Yeah, and then and that gives you plays for next turn.
Yeah, that's really good. Follow up is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there's also Albion the Branded Dragon, which is Fallen of Albaz and a light monster.
Yeah.
And then when it's fusion summoned, you can fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except itself, by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand, field, or graveyard. Hold on, wait a minute.
Yep.
That turns that spell card into 2 fusion monsters for the price of 1.
Yep.
Not named you can't make 2 Albions. During the end phase, this card's into the graveyard can sit there this turn, add to your hand or set a branded spell trap directly from your deck. Which this is.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah, hold on. That's just for the Albion the Branded Dragon. Let's see. Then there's Brigand the Glory Dragon, which is Fallen of Albaz and a level 8 or higher monster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure people can think of level 8 or higher targets to run. Actually, you could run like I'm pretty sure there are monsters you could run that fit multiples of like a level 8 or higher light, a level 8 or higher dark monster. So that way it's like, oh, I can just mill the exact same material to get Albion, and then instead I need Brigand. I can just mill the same monster to get Brigand.
Literally, yeah.
Cannot be destroyed by battle. While you control this human summon card, your opponent cannot target other monsters you control monster effects. During the end phase, finish graveyard, add to your hand or special summon a Tri-Brigade or Fallen of Albaz from your deck.
Okay, I just checked with one of the judges on our server. Shoutouts to the Legacy Crusaders channel. This is Benji. He says that purely based off the text of that card and Verte with other rulings such as Red Ice Fusion, I think you can use it with Verte. The second part of the text appears to be a condition which is not copied by Verte. So
okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another one. Titanic Lad. You can actually hard make Titanic Lad, Fallen of Albaz, and a monster with 2,500 or more attack. Gains attack equal to the combined original levels of monsters used for its fusion summon times 100.
The versatility of the different things that you can fuse with Albaz, the things that are listed on the Albaz fusion monsters are insane.
Yeah.
You can literally just there's so many different ways that you can just mill whatever you want out of your deck. It's like foolish burial. Almost.
Hold on. Turn 2 in Shadal. If you have a construct, if you have a window, activate this card, sending Fallen Albaz and the window.
Mm-hmm.
Out your own window, get
whatever.
Get like Albion, effective Albion, get another level 8 fusion rank. Well, you can't rank 8 right.
And when
there.
window goes to the graveyard, you can add a
Shadal Sprawler Trap back to your hand.
Wow, this is so broken.
Whew, and that's just me. That's just coming off of
It's time to pick up the Shadal core, ladies and gentlemen.
if you don't already have it.
Yeah. Wow, this is literally insane.
Like it just goes so well with fusion related decks.
Fallen of Albaz secret rares are up to 30.
Wait a minute. Does
25?
Does Albion say specifically that lists Fallen Albaz, or just any you can fusion summon any fusion monster?
I think. Oh, it's gotta. Surely it has to list Fallen of Albaz in it, right?
In this card, fusion summon, you can fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except itself by banishing fusion materials listed on from your hand or field, or graveyard. Fluffle.
Wait, what card? What card are you talking about?
Albion the Branded Dragon. It's Fallen Albaz and a light monster. He's looking it up. Give him a second.
Oh, don't do this to me.
I could totally.
If this card is fusion summoned, you can fusion summon one level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except Albion, the Branded Dragon, by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand, field, and or graveyard. During the end phase of this card's... Wait. So you can just, like...
do any fusion monster as long as you have the material in your hand, field, or graveyard. And it has to be level 8 or lower.
Oh my goodness!
So that's just another extender for Fluffle and
it's for any fusion deck.
Yeah, for any fusion based deck. That Fluffle and Stalls are the only two that come to mind immediately for me.
Insanity.
That's ridiculous.
Actual insanity.
Oh my god, that's amazing. And I'm pretty sure there are people out there who are like, yeah, but you could use it in this other way, which is even better. We just can't think of it.
This is actual insanity.
Yeah, I know. This is easily one of the I think this card by itself is going to sell the structure deck.
Yeah.
Oh lord, oh lord.
Yeah, dude, this is honestly pretty crazy.
Yeah, and again, we also have, we have all those other Fallen of Albaz fusions coming with it, which just makes this even more ridiculous, just due to, being able to fuse two of them, particularly making Albion then effective Albion to summon like Titanic Lad.
Right. Wow.
If you use a Blue Eyes as material, for example.
Yeah. Welp. I think that's enough about this ridiculous card. This card's got so much versatility and so many options. I think that's enough, though.
Yeah. I think people get it.
Yeah.
This card is cracked.
Honestly. We do want to take a quick moment to take a quick break and thank, of course, our sponsor. Thank you so much to ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. It is our locals. They do a wonderful job of supporting their local community. They are an OTS store where you get packs for entering. They do a monthly tournament for Yu-Gi-Oh! That they try to make it a little bit bigger than usual. And the monthly Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament for December will be December 18th. Obviously, you can't do it on Christmas Day. Obviously, you can't do it on the 11th because there's a remote duel YCS. So that leaves December 18th. So if you are within 3 or 4 hours, please be sure to come by, check it out. You can come from New Orleans in about 3 hours, 3.5. You can come from Dallas in about 5, Houston in about 4 to 5. It's really not a bad drive. So
It's really not. It sounds like it is. It's really not.
yeah, and if you I have a small economical car, so for me, a drive like that wouldn't even be bad. And then you can come meet us. So
Oh yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. We try to be there every single Battle City day.
right. So thank you of course to ETB for sponsoring the podcast, and please be sure to check them out on in our description down below. Let's go ahead and talk about our next bit, which is our next segment, rather, which is we want to talk for a little bit with the return of main in-person events, as well as the return of we have a remote duel YCS coming up in a week or so.
And then in January we have YCS Pasadena.
Right. So, and then in February, you have YCS Vegas, which I know a lot of our listeners, that'll be their first YCS. Because Vegas isn't putting the 2,000 player hard cap like Pasadena is.
I think part of that is due to them having, a bigger venue that they can utilize.
I'm just going to be honest, I don't think that's it. I think it's because Vegas is like the south of the West.
Oh, fair. You know what? That's fair. Well, no, because my thought was, bigger space means that you can still be COVID safe, but have more people in the same.
No.
Space.
They just don't have mask or gathering restrictions in Vegas.
That didn't even occur to me.
I'm sure,
I'm sure that the people who will be running it will still have
yes.
requirements.
In fact, I think they have already announced that Konami itself is going to require proof of vaccination and masks and everything still, just like they are for Pasadena. But I don't think that there's a player cap because Vegas doesn't have gathering limits. Because if they did, Vegas would, as a city, would just die.
Very, very possibly. Then of course another thing is, again, the bigger venue means they can put more people in there and still be COVID safe.
Right. So it is definitely, depending on your perspective, it's either an exciting time or kind of a scary time to be a player of the game. So regardless, if you are going to these in-person events, please be sure to be vaccinated and wear your mask at these events. It is helpful. Do your part to make sure that we are looking after not just ourselves, but the other people in the game.
Oh yeah, if you go on to Amazon or other websites right now, you could probably find some Yu-Gi-Oh themed masks, like my Pot of Greed one.
Yeah, Caleb has become known as Pot of Greed Boy in our local community. So, be sure to do your part before we want to say that before we go any further into any of this. If you are going to be participating and doing things, do your part to make sure that we can keep these events around and continue being and doing awesome things.
Yeah, go get your flu shots, go get your COVID vaccines now, especially the COVID one, because you got to wait before you get the second dose, and they're not going to let you in without that second dose.
Yeah, not only do you have to have the second dose, there's 4 weeks in between first dose and second dose, and then there is a 2-week waiting period between second dose and before you can get into the YCS.
Correct. So I think
day of airing is maybe literally the last day.
Yeah, the last possible day you can put it off. You got to do it within the next couple of days.
If you're going to Pasadena.
If you're going to Pasadena.
If you're going to Vegas, you have a couple of days, but seriously,
you have
get on it.
I'd say you have an extra week if you're going to Pasadena from today air date.
No.
No. And even then
that's 6 weeks. It's this episode will air on the the 29th or the 30th, maybe the 1st, something like that. And you have to count 6 weeks forward. You have maybe 2 or 3 days.
Well,
because you got to remember the event is taking place exactly 2 weeks after the first of the year. So however many weeks are in the month of December, which is 4, you have 3 extra days off of that.
Okay, so this episode, according to my calendar, will air. Let's see, on the 30th, on exactly the 30th.
So you have 3 days.
You have exactly 3 days, because then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exactly 6 weeks.
Like I said, you have 3 days.
You have exactly 3 days to get it done. It's free
if you're going to Pasadena.
if you're going to Pasadena. If you're going to Vegas, you have exactly 1 extra week.
Month.
I'd say 1 extra week.
Well, I'd say do it anyway now,
Yeah,
but you know.
because then it's over and done with, and you don't have to worry about it.
Right. So be sure to do that. But other than that, we do want to talk about how to prep for your first YCS. The main way to prep for a YCS, of course, is to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Lots of it.
Like a lot of it, because if you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, then, I mean, why are you going to a YCS? You know?
Yeah, exactly. But in all seriousness, this gives you the opportunity to encounter situations that there's no way you would have come up with it on your own end, or even encountered it in playtesting. Let you hit, like see what other people's other people are teching in. What else? Like, there's just a lot of reasons to do it.
So what I would say is the main reason to playtest is it puts you in uncomfortable situations. It teaches you how to get a little creative with your deck, get a little creative with what you're doing. And
another thing, it'll force you into situations where weird rulings will come up that don't normally come up in normal gameplay.
Right. It'll help you understand everything to the fullest extent that you can really understand. It gives you the best understanding of your deck. And also, it helps you learn maybe, for example, I'm playing Sword Soul. It's like, okay, well, I was playing 3 Tai A. Maybe I just want to play 2.
Yeah, because I kept bricking by drawing multiples.
Right. It helps you understand your deck as well as you possibly can.
Yeah. And so you can kind of sit there and really tune your deck to whatever you're doing.
Right.
Let's see. Then of course there's always, well, I've been trying this card. This card does something similar, but it does it differently, so it might actually be better.
Right. Like, for example, do you want to run Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler No More?
Yeah. Or Forbidden Chalice for whatever reason. Do you want to try out Forbidden Lands and see if it helps you against your game 2 going first? No, because then your opponent will have Dark Ruler No More. If they activate, you can just chain Lance, save one of your monsters, blah, blah, blah. If you want to try that out, there's a lot of things you can do there.
Yeah, it really is incredibly... this is where you learn your deck. This is where you learn what you want to run, what you expect to see. And that leads us into our next thing, which playtesting will prepare you to understand the meta. So if you want to go in and you want to really compete and do more than just, be there and have fun, which if you just want to be there and have fun, that's understandable.
That's perfectly fine.
It's a fun event. But if you are going to try to compete and win the whole event, you need to understand the meta. So
you got to understand where to hand trap, what decks, what hand traps to bring.
What I would say is make sure that you know the top, like in this meta, you need to know the top 8 decks. You need to understand how Sword Soul, Tri-Brigade, Virtual World, Drytron,
Flow Under Ease, because you're going to see it.
Flow Under Ease. You need to understand with Dogmatic Invoke Shaddoll, you need to understand how all of those decks work to a certain extent. You don't have to be an expert on them all, but understanding what makes the decks tick and where you can stop them is going to be the key to playing through round by round. And if you come across a deck that you don't know in live tournament play, realistically, that's probably okay, right? Because what that allows you to do is you can take the things you've learned and you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can project that onto a lot of different matchups. So, let's say you're playing Altergeist, but you didn't test against Altergeist. Well, maybe you played against Eldritch and you know how back row decks play and you understand the meta, so you sided with preparation for that, right?
Yeah, or a great example is you're sitting there going through and all of a sudden you come across a Plunder Patrol deck and you have no idea what you're doing. it's kind of read the cards, kind of gauge what they're trying to do.
Right, but read quickly so you don't go into time, because I had
Yeah.
that happen to me against Plunder Patrol.
Yeah, no, exactly. Read quickly so you can kind of gauge what they're trying to do and do your best game one. But usually at the end of game one, you have a pretty good idea what they're trying to do.
Right.
And then you can kind of come up with a game plan games 2 and 3.
Right.
And then you can kind of keep what you learn.
Yeah, I would say that the best way, in my opinion, to both playtest and understand the meta, they have remote duel regionals like every weekend. It's really easy. It's $20 to enter. You submit a deck list. You play through Discord, and you can literally get like 6 rounds in like 5.5, 6 hours.
Yep.
They keep them going at a really good pace. I started one at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and
You were done by like what, 3, 4?
I was done at like 3 because I got my third loss at 3.
Yeah.
But there was only 1 round left, and they're not playing out top cut. So it's like you can literally be done with it in just like a few hours. It's really convenient. You're at your house. You can just, and it gives you a sense of what tournament play is like when you need to call a judge, when you need to do this. I mean, I really can't recommend it enough. Even if you're a newer player, it's fine. You can enter a remote duel regional. These tournaments are not like, 400-man regionals. These are like 25, 30, 35. Mine yesterday,
40 at most.
Mine yesterday was 35. The one that Dylan from Team Dark Arm Dealings, our sister channel, check them out on YouTube. The one that he won, the one that he topped was only 27 people. That's like a really like nice, small, fair environment. So, I would definitely recommend checking out the remote duel regionals. If you can't do remote duel regionals, or if you just don't feel comfortable enough yet, be sure to come into our server. We have remote duels, EDO, and dueling book groups that test on all 3 of those all the time.
Right now, almost daily basis.
Right now, I'm trying to test as much as I can for the remote duel YCS. I'm trying to learn a new deck and make sure that I can play it to the best of my ability. So,
oh yeah,
be sure to join our server and you can get this playtesting. You can have the opportunity to really come in and check out and play against real players. So,
something else about that kind of thing though is that then you also can, especially like joining our Discord or joining a Discord server, not necessarily ours. And then remote dueling with the people there is you might actually find someone who understands your deck better than, not your particular deck, but your archetype, your deck archetype better than you, and then kind of sit down and explain some things that you didn't even think of.
Yes.
Example, whenever I first started with the Tri Brigade stuff, I had Sonny explain to me some of the Tri Brigade combos and some of the inboards.
And I'm working on Sword Soul, and I've had Dylan helping me out a lot with Sword Soul through the server. Just learning some of the different combo lines and learning some of the different pathing that you can take to get to the different things you want to see and do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that will also actually lead me into an announcement that we've been putting off on making, but I think now's as good a time as any. Starting after the first of the year, after YCS Pasadena, more than likely, because we don't want to be running anything while we're at a YCS, we will more than likely be starting up remote duel locals in our server on a weekly basis.
Oh yeah.
These will be run and have actual tournament, the Konami software using it. We do have a connection on that. It will be mostly run and officiated by Giant Skyhawk. And we're hoping for Thursday nights, starting around 6:30 or 7 o'clock Central Time.
It'll really, well, we're still kind of feeling that out.
Yeah, we don't have an exact time frame, but we are really looking at it and, exploring all of our options.
Yeah.
But we
trying
are
to get everything figured out.
Yeah, we are looking for, after the first of the year, starting up remote duel locals in our server, which would be a great place for people to come in, check it out, get experience, get practice. And also, I think that it would be great if everybody could give feedback on what day of the week works best, what timing works best. That way we can try to make this work at a good time for everybody, not just us. So be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions on that.
Oh, yeah.
The next thing that I want to talk about for prepping for your first YCS is having the tools for the job. So a lot of people, when they go to an event, say you're going to a regional, a lot of people just go in with sleeves that they've been using for, 6 months, same sleeves, same everything, and they don't switch it up and they don't do anything. What a lot of people don't realize is using old and worn sleeves can literally result in you getting a game loss or a match loss.
Mm-hmm. Or even completely disqualified.
Yes. And honestly, if the judge determines it to be bad enough, you can get banned. So the reason this is because things like old sleeves and things of that sort, if they're a little too worn, if maybe one sleeve's more worn, or if it, let's say you were around your sleeves and somehow got a mark on it or something, if they think that you're marking your deck, marking your cards, or trying to make things identifiable in any way,
yeah,
then they can disqualify you from the tournament for cheating, and that will result in a ban of like 2 years. So I will say, please, please, please be sure when you go to one of these events, have the tools for the job. Make sure you have the right sleeves. Make sure you go in prepared with dice. Make sure that you go in prepared with a pen and paper, because if you have a calculator at a real tournament, let's say I'm sitting across from my opponent and I have a calculator and my opponent has a pen and paper. He could keep track of life however he wants to. But if there's a discretion and the judge comes, the judge is required by Konami policy to take the pen and paper over the calculator. So the only time that this is not true is if you're using the Konami Neuron app.
Yeah.
If you're using the Konami Neuron app, that is considered actual, what's the word I'm looking for?
The reason why
an actual log.
Yeah, the reason why is because there is a specific log of what happened.
Right.
As opposed to calculator where you're literally just going minus 200, and then the calculator just displays 68 and like the current life point total, not the individual, he took 700 here, 200 here, 1,000 here.
Which we know a lot of the TI calculators, TI 84, TI 84 plus, whatever.
Have those.
It has that, but Konami's policy is that calculators lose to pen and paper every time.
Yeah.
Unless it's the Neuron app. The Neuron app has a log that you can click on.
Yeah, and it goes all the way back until you hit the reset button.
Right. And so it's officially licensed.
Too. That's another part of it. It's their official software, so of course they're gonna
allow it. Right.
Yeah.
If you don't have the Neuron app, if you have foreign cards in your deck, make sure you have translations on hand.
Yes.
Because you have to have translations for all of your cards.
Yes. If you're running German copies of Galaxy Soldier, and you be sure to have an English copy of it.
Right. Or if you're in Germany and you're running English copies, make sure to have a German copy. I don't know the rulings in that situation, but I would just be ready.
Just as an example, make sure you have, if you're using cards in a different language from what is the local language, make sure you have a local copy of it.
Yeah, I would just say, just to be on the safe side, just make sure you always have the correct copy of whatever language you're playing in. So, so always have translations, have dice ready, have pen and paper, have your right sleeves, have a play mat to play on, because don't nobody want to be playing on a white plastic table, just putting their cards on the table. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I understand that for a lot of players, even the newer players, that this is a bit of a monetary investment. But when you look at some of the cards that you're playing with, I mean, the cards themselves are a monetary investment, and you don't want to, you don't want to go in and mess up your cards that you spent money on. So, protect them.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have a backpack to carry all of my stuff in, specifically specifically a locking backpack.
Yeah. No, if you can get a backpack that locks, you're set. You're pretty. Or one of those. I forgot what they're called. They made a backpack where the zipper is like against your back.
Oh, those are the oh gosh, I think it's an Ultimate Guard.
Yeah, like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where somebody wants to unzip it, they have to reach around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like unless you like either get a locking backpack or one of those, or just do what I like to do sometimes. I like to call it the backpack baby.
Oh yeah. So
Where you
can,
put the straps on your backpack on your chest.
right, like a fanny pack.
Yeah, where the bag itself's in front of you.
Yeah, like the like he said, like the babies where like they hold the little baby and the little baby carrier across their chest. So, yep,
Exactly.
that is absolutely something that you could do. But yeah, be prepared. Always have your backpack in a place where it is safe and secure. Be sure you have an eye on it. Be sure you lock it if you can.
Yeah, if you have a lock on it, that's
Yes. I would go in literally with, if I'm going into a tournament, like when I go to the YCS, I'm going to carry a small trade binder. I'm going to carry
your deck, obviously.
my deck and my tools needed for the job.
Yes,
and
extra sleeves, mat.
Extra sleeves, play mat, and maybe literally like one extra, maybe one like if I want to carry like my plant decks or like my Edison decks.
Yeah. Stuff that isn't
and like
pertinent.
staples in case I need something on the fly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like you get there and it's like, oh wait a minute, I just heard that they just banned this card, so now this entire deck's not even going to be here anymore. So there's no reason for me to run this extra deck card, side deck option.
Right. So,
because that has happened before.
Oh yeah, no, it's happened where you show up at the event and they announce a ban list on the way to the event, and you have to change your deck list right as you go to submit it.
Yep, I know, because they've done it before. They've even like quick banned some cards like right before YCS started, even though there wasn't supposed to be another ban list for another like month. They just said, this card's banned from this tournament.
Yeah, they have emergency banned and done. And I would make sure you have your phone on you to make sure that you can look things up. But I don't think you're allowed to actually be on your phone during the tournament itself. But
you're not. I don't think you're allowed to be on your phone unless you're on the Neuron app while you're at a table.
Right.
But like before or like in between, you're just walking around. I don't think they care.
Yeah. Be sure that you are not walking around paying people money for cards in the venue. That can get you banned.
Yes, because Konami doesn't like when people do that. Because
they want you to go through their official vendors.
But yeah, and then as far as player to player, they kind of want you to just do trades.
Right.
But
so what I do, Konami, don't listen to this part. Konami, skip ahead if you're listening. I know people that would either go outside the venue to, if they're buying a card off of somebody, or I've seen people do this. I've never done this. How's that? I've never done this. I've seen people do it. Slip like a $5 or $10 bill down in the sleeve with a card.
Yeah, behind the card.
Yeah, slip a $5 behind the card. Trade the card with like a common, and then get their card. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for example, it's like, hey man, I really want this Diamond Direwolf you got. How about I trade you this? And then this like slides a 20 behind it. This common Sentry Golem.
Right.
Here you go. And they're like, yeah, sure.
We're not advocating for this. Do not do this.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying it's something that's been done. Okay.
Yeah.
The point is, don't just walk up and hand somebody money for a card.
Yeah, walk outside.
Yeah, go outside, go buy from a vendor or something like that.
Preferably go purchase from the vendor.
Yeah, so just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Don't be doing stupid stuff like that. That is not legal. Just saying, make sure you only have the cards in your deck box that are in your deck, main deck, side deck, and extra deck. Don't be putting cards in your deck box that are not part of your deck.
Or tokens. Tokens are also fine.
Tokens are also okay.
But they have to be very clearly marked as tokens. If they're not specifically, if they're Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are not tokens, they have to be like markered on their token. And even then, that's
pushing it. So please be sure to be careful and take care of yourself. Okay, have your cards, have your tokens, have your trades, have your binder, have your play mat, have your extra sleeves, have your dice, your pen and paper.
Speaking of extra sleeves, I would actually recommend, like the last opportunity you get, like you're at your local and you're about to, and this is the last time you're going to be there, just go ahead and pick up like 2 boxes of extra sleeves just so you have them.
Yeah, if there's ever a discretionary issue with your sleeves, you need to have extra sleeves on hand that match the sleeves you're using for the event.
Yeah. So for instance, right now I'm using I think it's Dragon Shield Petrol color.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'd have to go and buy like 2 more boxes of the Petrol if I wanted to continue. Then
you have to be able to re-sleeve on the fly, basically.
Yeah. Well, in reality, I have to buy 3 because these are kind of worn. I have to buy 3 boxes. 1 box for the start, and then if there's
1 box to spare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have all the tools for the job, have everything you need to have everything you need for the tournament itself. And I would also say that if you're at an in-person event, these events run very long. Make sure you have your wallet and your keys and things like that. But like, you might be able to catch, if one of your rounds ends early, you might be able to run and go catch a snack at a McDonald's if there's one close.
Maybe.
If you're really lucky, or if you get a buy or something, eat a real. You know what? That brings us into our next point, which is be well rested and fed.
Yes.
Make sure you before the night before
eat a fairly large breakfast.
Yeah, eat like a real breakfast. Don't just eat like a Pop-Tart. You know?
Like if you're staying at a hotel, most hotels have like an all-you-can-eat buffet basically down there. You go eat until you're like, okay, this is enough.
Yeah. Don't overeat. Don't make yourself sick. But like
bacon, sausage, eggs,
right, toast,
fruits,
etc.
Be sure you eat fruit.
Yeah,
vegetables.
I always recommend fruit. Fruit, it gives you a huge burst of energy. Really gets you going.
Especially bananas.
Yeah, and it won't like make you crash like coffee or something will.
Yeah. And then if you do bring food, make sure it's like peanuts.
Yeah, for as far as bringing food to the event, make sure it's not something that's gonna like go bad in your bag or something.
So like
a lot of times these venues are really warm, so you don't want to bring like chocolate, right?
Yeah, I would recommend like trail mix without the M&Ms in it.
Trail mix is probably fine with the M&Ms because like everything else is gonna keep it at like an ambient temperature.
Well, actually, I know that M&Ms are specifically designed for kind of less
handling
than ideal heat situation.
Yeah, M&Ms would probably be fine, but like in trail mix, because there's peanuts, there's protein, there's something that's going to carry you through.
Yeah. Dried fruits.
I recommend a Cliff Bar.
Cliff Bars are good.
They're full of protein, and yeah, they got a little bit of sugar, but that's fine.
Oh yeah. Well, you do also want to make sure you're getting sugar, because if you don't have enough sugar, if you're like me, you'll have a sugar
crash.
Not even like a crash. You'll just kind of feel awful. Because your body's used up all the sugar and is begging for it.
Yeah. Eat in a way that you're not going to make yourself sick, and you're not going to make yourself like, oh, I'm really hungry at like 3 p.m.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
like this tournament is going to start at 10 a.m. and end at like 6 with no breaks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, sometimes they do a break, but not every time.
It's very rare.
And it's usually at the smaller regionals where they do that because they're like, we have the time to spare.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, even then, like, you know, specifics on what to eat, when to eat, how to eat is going to differ from person to person.
Yeah.
Especially if you're diabetic or hypoglycemic.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially those kinds of people.
So, everybody, be sure to just be safe. Make sure that you really... Make sure you take care of yourself, you
Definitely.
know? So...
Drink plenty of water.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay hydrated.
I would almost say, what I plan on doing is, like, a couple days before, like, because I do drink soda on, like, maybe 1-2 cans a day. Like, as we get closer, I'm going to start weaning myself with that completely to where I'm just drinking water all day.
Yeah, I would say that...
Do that kind of thing slowly if you're going to do that.
As long as it's not going to cause you to, like, have, like, a withdrawal mid... You know, like somebody drinks, like 24 Cokes a day.
Yeah, like an entire 12-pack per day.
Yeah, don't cut yourself off cold turkey, like, because then you're gonna have like a caffeine withdrawal or something, and you're gonna go crazy. But like, you know, like I drink like an energy drink, like 4 or 5 times a week, like once a day. Like that's normal for me. But usually, other around that, I drink water. Like I probably won't have an energy drink that day.
Yeah. And even then, that's as simple as just not having energy that day. For some people who drink a little more of that, because like sometimes I'll drink an energy drink and then 2 sodas throughout the day. Over time, you know, like over the next week or 2, I'll probably drop that down to just 1 soda per day, and then eventually no soda. And you gotta kind of go slow with those kind of dietary changes, because if you don't, you're gonna hurt yourself. Trust me, I know.
So bring everything that you need, bring everything that you have that you need, and be prepared. So go in with the tools for the job. The last thing is to make sure if you're traveling to prep accordingly. So for example, we are traveling to YCS Pasadena. We have 6 weeks until the event happens.
Mm-hmm.
We already have all of our flights booked. We already have our Airbnb booked.
Mm-hmm.
We already have our accommodations reserved as far as who's staying with us.
Mm-hmm.
We already know that it's me, it's you, it's Giant Skyhawk, and it's Reno Kajika, one of the admins from our server.
Yep.
We know that this crew is going to be there. We've already got everything set aside.
Yep.
We have money budgeted to enter the event, to do everything that we need to do.
Oh yeah, like now is the time to, if you do decide to go, now is the time to get that kind of stuff. Well, actually, like 2 weeks ago was probably a better time to get that kind of thing. But as soon as you can is the key point behind, about where you're staying, how you're getting there, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Unless you're day tripping it, then it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah, if you're day tripping it, then that's awesome. But
Lucky you.
I mean, we're traveling across the country for this event.
Literally.
Yeah. So be sure to go ahead and prep your travel plans accordingly, because for us, I mean, gosh, it's what, like
I think it was like $200 per person for like $200 and something dollars per person for a plane ticket,
yeah,
and then another
$250 per person for the Airbnb.
yeah.
Of course, we're also staying 5 nights.
And yeah, instead of just like going in on Friday, leaving Sunday, we're going in on Thursday, leaving like
Right.
Tuesday.
Because of all of you beautiful idiots, we're bringing all of our podcast equipment and we're recording podcast episodes every day that we are there. We love you too.
Yep. Do keep in mind though that they won't be nearly as clean because
We won't be doing all the editing.
Yeah, I won't be able to do all the editing because my computer is 75, 80 pounds.
Yeah, no, we're not putting that one in a bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we're not putting my big old desktop in a bag and lugging that thing around.
Yeah, so we're gonna throw our cords, our microphones, my MacBook Pro, and the essentials in a bag. We're gonna take it with us, and we will. Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna try and get as much stuff out there to you guys as we can while we're there, because this is a pretty major opportunity. I mean, it's the first in-person YCS we've had since we've got back in the game.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I think that'll wrap us up. So, just a quick recap, if you're skipping ahead or if you're listening on like times 2 speed, you missed stuff. How to prep for your first YCS. Playtest. Play as much as you can. Get used to your deck. Get used to the meta. With that, you need to understand the meta. Be sure that you know what all the major decks do, how to counter them, and that your deck is prepped accordingly. Have the tools for the job. Have your sleeves, your dice, your pen and paper, your backpack, your binder. Make sure you have everything that you need to properly attend an event like this. Be well rested and fed. Get good sleep the night before. And make sure that you eat real good, nutritious food, something that's going to keep you going all day. And make sure that when you go, you keep a little snack or something with you. That way, if you get hungry throughout the event, you can stop and do something. Stop and eat something quick. And if you're traveling, plan your travel well in advance. Make sure that you know what you're doing as far as travel with some real advance notice. Don't wait until a week before the event and be like, I got to book a flight, I got to book an Airbnb, because the hotels will be booked, the Airbnbs will be booked. We were already having trouble finding an Airbnb 6 weeks away.
Yeah, more, a little more than 6 weeks. I think it was like 7.5 at that point.
Yeah, so make sure, because people are booking Airbnbs for this event. Like, the entire town of Pasadena is not going to have very many Airbnbs available.
And that's not even, that's just Airbnbs. That's not even including hotels.
Yeah, I mean, you have literally thousands of people that are flying in and attending this event. Thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure that you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and like if you're planning on going to the YCS Las Vegas, start booking that stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, if you know you're going, I would already have my flight booked and have everything done, realistically.
Like now.
Yeah.
Like the day this airs. Do it now. Do it now!
Yeah, honestly. So, but that'll wrap us up. That'll wrap us up. Let's go ahead and talk about the podcast question of the day.
Yeah, boy!
So, Thursday's episode, which was Thanksgiving Day, we asked, what is your favorite Thanksgiving food? We got some great replies. So, mashed potatoes or whatever Asian food is on the table. That's interesting. I'm feeling we need to start incorporating Asian food into our Thanksgiving.
Oh, we 100% do. Oh, some nice real ramen, not top ramen.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or good plate of fried rice.
Oh, some shrimp fried rice.
Oh, lo mein. Oh. All right. Mac and cheese, classic. More mashed potatoes. Cheesy potatoes. That's a good one. Stuffing. It's more stuffing. Pie. Thanksgiving food is trash. Send tweet. Who hurt this guy? But no. Hey, if you don't like Thanksgiving food, that's understand.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's fair. You do you. I disagree, but you do you. More for pie, more for stuffing, more for mashed potatoes. Here's one, Giant Skyhawk. Sweet potatoes with marshmallows baked on top.
Yes.
Oh, buddy.
I don't know
Candied sweet potatoes are the best.
Well, I was about to ask, what do y'all call it? Because over with my family, we normally called it a sweet potato casserole.
See, for us, it wasn't a casserole. We just called it sweet potatoes.
Fair enough.
But the way we do it is you boil the potatoes and then you peel them and then you cut them up into chunks, into kind of chunks, not like little tiny bits because you don't want them mashed or anything. You just want them in chunks. And then you just pour an absolute metric buttload of brown sugar all over the top of it. And then you bake it.
Yeah, and then you put some marshmallows on top and then put it back in the oven for a little bit longer.
Just enough to toast the marshmallows.
Yeah.
Delicious. Absolute heaven.
Now, the reason why it was more of the reason why my family called it a casserole is because they would basically make mashed sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And then stick that in a casserole dish and then put the marshmallows on top and bake it.
Yeah. I have seen people just mash the potatoes.
Which kind of gives it a more creamy texture, which some people like, other people don't.
I like having a chunk to bite into personally.
I actually kind of prefer it creamier, but again, that's what I was raised with.
Right, exactly.
But don't get me wrong, I like it chunked too.
I'm a sucker for a good green bean casserole, personally. That did not go over well in the server, but
Key term, good green bean casserole. In my experience, it's really easy to mess it up. Real easy.
Yep. My Italian family just substitutes most of the Thanksgiving food for baked ziti, and it goes crazy. That's awesome.
That sounds amazing.
We only got a couple of replies for turkey, believe it or not. A lot of people, I guess they just haven't had fried turkey. So
that's fair. I mean, most fried turkeys I've seen came out black.
Yeah.
Watching people posting videos on YouTube and Facebook and all that, which is always hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Particularly when one person pulled it out and it was just on fire.
Yeah. Well, you gotta know what you're doing. My brother-in-law makes the best fried turkey in the world. It's my wife used to swear up and down by her grandmother's turkey. Turkey in the oven, classic.
Yeah, some baked turkey.
Yeah. And she used to swear by it. She says, "It's the only turkey I like." Just try this fried turkey, but it's black. Just peel the skin off and eat it. And she ate it,
and now crisped skin.
And now it's like, I say it wasn't black. It was dark brown. But now it's the only turkey she likes. It's all she wants at Thanksgiving. She's she'll go to her family's house, and this year we did it a little bit different. She went to her family Thanksgiving, and I went to mine because I wanted to see my new niece. And two different areas of the country. I mean, she went to Texas. I went to New Orleans.
Yeah.
So it just worked out that way. But we went. She was like, just bring me back a plate with some fried turkey on it. She was like, I have to have the turkey. So, and we had one reply for ham. And we had one reply that said, we have a new tradition this year where they get home and they pop a frozen pizza and some wings in and they turn on a TMNT movie. Hey, that's awesome. That
sounds awesome.
If that is your family tradition, that is awesome. That we are all for it.
Hey, look, the thing about Thanksgiving is in the U.S. is one of the things where you can totally do it the traditional way if you want to, or come up with your own thing. Doesn't matter. It's all about the gathering of the family.
Right. So, with all of that said, we have today's podcast question of the day, which is relevant. It is, have you ever participated in a YCS? And if you have, what would you recommend for prep, how would you recommend somebody going to their first YCS? You know, what are things that you would recommend people do? So,
Now, the thing is, both me and Sonny have both been to a YCS before.
a decade ago,
A decade ago.
almost.
Yeah, up to this point. And it was during, I remember Dino Rabbit was a thing, but it was like Dino Rabbit, Mermail.
Yeah, it was the 2013 YCS Austin, which was won by Mermail. Second place was Fire Fist.
Yeah. I won in that mug with Fire King. Fire King avatars.
I played 6 Sam, don't ask.
Let's see. Oh. Actually, I think it was my 6 Sam deck you borrowed.
It was.
Yeah, because I was.
It's a long story.
Yeah, because I wanted to play Fire Kings. Then went X3. No. I went X2. And then I was like, no. I went X. Yeah, I was X3, and I was like, I'm just going to drop and join the Attack of the Giant card tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We get to the Attack of the. And I think Sonny did this. Yeah, Sonny did the same thing.
No, I didn't. I didn't play in it.
No, I thought you did.
Nope.
Okay. Well, anyway, we got there, and they were announcing, it's this person versus this person, because it was much smaller, and it was Billy Brake and some other guy. I can't think of the dude's name. Who were in the Attack of the Giant card tournament, and everybody just went, "Well, this is over already."
Yeah, they've been in the game. Billy Brake has been in the game a long time. He's been a pro for a long time. So,
my first round in that tournament though was up against Mermail, and I lost, but I made him sweat, and that's all. That's the only reason why I remember that whole YCS is that one tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely a place where you can go and make some memories. So, but that'll wrap us up for today's episode. Thank you everybody so much for listening. Please be sure to check us out every Tuesday and every Friday, unless it's Thanksgiving, then we'll hit you up on a Thursday, but be sure to check us out every Tuesday and every Friday on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, anywhere you can listen. Be sure to share this podcast with all of your Yu-Gi-Oh buddies at your locals. And be sure to check out our Twitter at Top Cut Podcast. Check out our Patreon. The link is in the description below if you want to support the podcast. Be sure to check out our Discord. Our Discord is, of course, where you can interact with us the most, place to answer podcast question of the day, all of that. Be sure to check out Team Dark Arm Dealings. Their link is in the description below. And of course, check out our sponsor, ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. They will also have a link in the description below. Thank you all so much for listening and have a good rest of your week.
Take care, everybody.